Hi everyone, Alan from Newlands Nursery. Hope you are well. So normally on our 5-minute Fridays we do a follow along, plant something up. But I wanted to do this video because hopefully, fingers crossed, we're going to have a nice sunny summer and not get a huge amount of rain, and plants are going to love it. But what we often find, we often get asked questions, is what plants are drought tolerant. So these are some examples of some that will cope with dry conditions. And whilst we might not get dry conditions this summer, it's possible it's going to rain all the time, it is worth noting these types of plants because when you start putting something in a container, hasn't got the water table to rely on, it doesn't get rained on as much as the rain. So if you put something in a container, sometimes picking something that is drought tolerant is well worth doing. So often when you're going through websites or visiting the garden centre, looking for something that will cope with drier periods, if you're going to put it in a container, is potentially the way to go. So I've picked 3 here, just from the nursery. We've got the sedum here. You can even look at that and think, okay, that's going to cope with dry conditions. It has that fleshy leaf, succulent type leaf. So we'll go through long periods of not getting too much water. Doesn't mean we don't want to water these plants, and they're going to thrive more, especially the flowering ones if we do, but they just cope with slightly harsher conditions. We've got Achillea here, commonly known as yarrow. There's loads and loads of different ones. This is one of the new vintage reds, which has a lovely flower to it and really does cope with arid conditions. And we've got a pelargonium, a geranium here, an upright pelargonium geranium. That isn't one you'd necessarily pick to say, okay, this is definitely drought tolerant, but out of all the bedding plants, all of the annual flowering plants, it copes with those conditions better than most. In fact, actually, what we tend to find is people suffer from giving them too much water. So bear that in mind. They like to be on the drier side. So they're just 3 examples of plants that if we get a long period of time with no rain, or if you're going to put them in a container and maybe go on holiday, you want to leave them with a neighbour to water, and maybe they haven't got as much time as you have, these are really good examples of plants to go for. So bear that in mind. If you're going away for 2 weeks this summer, you're leaving to your kids to water and they might not remember, or your neighbour, and can't do it all the time. Something that can cope with dry periods is well worth going for. As always, if you've got any questions at all, get in contact. We can definitely help. See you soon.